Have you ever wondered how some people seem to build wealth so easily while others struggle to make ends meet? Now, you might think it's because of luck, or maybe they have family members that gave them some cash. Regardless of the reasoning, a huge factor in why some people are able to build wealth better than others is due to good habits, right? Some people have these good habits that help them build wealth over time, and others that don't, that struggle, lack these habits. So that's why in this video, I'm going to share with you 6 simple yet powerful lessons that I learned when it comes to building wealth. And a lot of this inspiration when it comes to building wealth came from a book I read called The Richest Man in Babylon, right? And this is the book right here. It's a pretty simple book. It's an easy book. It's about like 100 pages, and it's a very easy read. And I think it was written in like 1926, but the obviously the author, when he wrote it, the setting is I think it's like based on a story like 4,000 years ago. And it's a fictional story, but I think it was like based on like something 4,000 years ago. But it's such an easy book, and it's a good a book when it comes to personal finance and understanding how to build wealth over time. And so I'm going to be sharing with you like some of the lessons that I learned from that book, and then hopefully apply it to today's, where you can also help build wealth for yourself. So the first thing I learned about when it comes to building wealth is creating income and paying yourself first. Now this is important, right? Because this is something anyone can do, right? Regardless of like what you do, how much money you make, anybody can. As long as you have a job and you have some income coming in, you can learn how to pay yourself first. And what I mean by pay yourself first is like, let's say you have a nice little job, make $1,000 a month, right? What you want to do is you want to take 10% of that, at least 10% of that income. 10% of that income, and then put that off to the side and save it, right? Anybody could do it. It doesn't matter how much money you can make. You could any amount of money that you're making, you could always take money from that and then put it off to the side. So that's like one of the first things you want to do, is just make sure you're paying yourself first, and then live off whatever's left. A problem that a lot of people have is that we make money and then we spend all the money we got, and then we wonder why we ain't got no money at the end of the month. Right? So the thing you want to do is you want to make sure whatever income you're getting in, whether it's weekly, monthly, you want to take a percentage of that, 10% at least, and put that off to the side and save that, right? That's the first thing you want to do, is you want to make sure you're putting that off to the side and saving that money. And that's important because, so let me share with you a quick story about like my situation. Like back in 2016, I had a whole bunch of debt, like $30,000 of debt. And I was trying to figure out how to get out of it. And I was thinking about starting a new business. And it was funny too, because I read this book, I think from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I forgot which exact book was it. And he mentioned about paying yourself first. And it's funny because I've read this same book like years. It's like Cash Flow Quadrant. I read this book years ago, and it talked about paying yourself first, but I never understood it. So I read it again in 2016, and then it finally clicked, right? And it made sense. I was like, okay. You got bills to pay, so you're gonna just not pay some of your bills and make sure you pay yourself first. And that thing, at first when I read it, it was just like, oh, I gotta make sure I pay my bills first. But then I said, let me try it. And I was a kickbox instructor at the time, so I wasn't making crazy money. I was making like $15 an hour. But I said, all right, let me try it. So whenever my checks came in, I would take a percentage of that money, put it off, in my savings account, and then I would pay whatever rest, use that money to pay the rest of my bills. Now, obviously, I wasn't able to cover all my debts, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this and see how it goes. And then I tried it a couple times. I was like, you know what? Some of these bills didn't get paid, but you know what? I'm still alive. I didn't die, right? So, and then I said, to myself, as I kept doing it and I got comfortable with it, I was like, you know what? And this is when I started my business. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to pay it at all. And I would not advise anybody to do this. Is just something that I did. This was my situation. I would never advise anyone to do it, because eventually, obviously, I took a hit. I paid for that. My credit got jacked up. But this is just something that I did. So eventually I just said, I'm just not going to pay these credit card companies. And eventually it went into default. Collections were sent after me. But I said, you know what? I'm going to work on my business. And once I start making money on that business, then I'll pay off these credit cards. And eventually I did that. But it's just funny, like when I started doing that, it was just amazing how much money I started having. Like every time every time I got paid for my job, I would take money aside and put that in a savings account, and I could see the money building up. Now, of course, my credit got jacked up, but at the same time, I was like, all right, this is starting to make sense. Like I start feeling more in control, and I was like, all right, you know what? I have money. I can use this money to do things that I need, and I'm not too worried. So making sure that you pay yourself first is very important. So whatever you're doing, like if you're a young person and you got like a nice little minimum wage job, you can do this as well. Take whatever money, whatever, when that check comes in, take at least 10% of that and put it off somewhere. Put that in a savings account, put that in a piggy bank, put that under your mattress, whatever it is. Make sure you take a percentage of that and put that off to the side. That's very important, making sure you pay yourself first. All right, you'll hear that a lot when it comes to people, when it comes to building wealth. Always pay yourself first, okay? So the next thing is making sure you keep your expenses low. Now, for a lot of people, what we tend to do is like when we make money, we spend all that money, we accumulate a lot of things. We buy the cars, we buy the furniture, we have to pay the rent, and then we end up getting to a point where we spend more than we make. So if you're someone that makes $1,000 a month, right? The first thing you want to do is obviously you want to take 10% and put that off to the side, right? So you got $900 left. You need to live off that $900. You shouldn't be spending more than $900 a month, okay? Obviously you want to keep those expenses as low as you can, and so you have, money to do other things that you need. So you want to make sure you keep your expenses low. Stop buying things that you don't need, right? Focus on the things that you do need, and obviously keep those expenses low. If you can do that, you'll find yourself having more money at the end of the month. You'll find yourself in control of your finances. And if you're someone that obviously has a lot of debt, then obviously the main thing you want to do is try to reduce that debt. Reduce your expenses as much as possible. That's the main thing. Make sure once you create that income and you're putting off money to the side, you want to make sure you keep your expenses as low as possible. And you'll find yourself at the end of the month, you'll have money to do other things. All right. Next thing is, Once you've put that money off to the side, the next thing you want to do is you want to figure out how to multiply that money. This is very important because all that money you saved, you just don't want to keep that in a savings account, because obviously savings accounts don't pay anything, right? They pay 0.3%, so you're not gonna make anything on that money. And obviously with inflation, that money is just getting eaten away because of inflation. So all that money that you put away over time, you want to then try to multiply that money. And obviously the best way you want to do that is obviously invest in that, right? Whether it's investing in stocks, investing in real estate, any asset that can generate income for you. You want to make sure you're taking that money and putting it to that so they can make money while you sleep, because that's the most important thing. Is once you put it into the stock and you put in real estate or whatever income generating asset, it's making money for you while you sleep. So you want to make sure you're multiplying that money, because obviously you're the income that you're making through your labor, it's your labor that's creating that income, right? But the money you're putting aside, you're putting that into income asset generators, and it's making money while you sleep. So you want to make sure you're trying to multiply that money. It can grow your wealth over time, right? You put that money in investment, you just leave that in there and let it build. That's how a lot of people build wealth. They find these assets that generate income, and they take the money that they save, put it in there, and let the money work for you, right? Because obviously you're just one person, you can't work forever. You want to make sure that you're using your money and then putting them to work. So that's something that a lot of people do. All right, so make sure you take that money you save. Don't just leave it in a bank account. Put that money into investment stocks. Obviously educate yourself on these things first, but obviously educate yourself on the asset that you're going to use, and you put that money you save, put it into these things, and let the money work for you. So this is very important. All right. So the next thing is you want to make sure you're protecting your money, right? So all that money that you have saved up, you want to then just protect it. All right. And so it's important to be careful with who manages your money, right? Obviously, if you're going to invest in something, a lot of people invest in crypto, right? I invest in crypto, but I don't invest, all my money. Some people put all their money into crypto, which is very, very dangerous and very, very reckless, because obviously it's very volatile. So, you don't want to put all your money in some risky asset, because obviously for a lot of people, there's a lot of get rich quick schemes, and a lot of people focus on that. They want to make money fast. So you got to be careful with that. You got to protect the money that you have, especially the principal. Like if you're investing $1,000, you want to make sure you at least protect that $1,000 you're investing. So you want to make sure you put it with people that can handle that money. Like if you're dealing with a financial advisor, you want to make sure that financial advisor also is investing. They have an understanding of what they're investing. So whatever you're using to help manage your money, you want to make sure you understand what's going on. Just don't put your money blindly into anything and then you risk losing that money. All right. So you want to make sure you protect that money. Make sure you're putting it into something that'll make sure it protects your money and can also grow that money over time. So, and also you don't want people that aren't familiar or understand money dealing with your money. Right. So you want to make sure that people understand, like they're investing, they understand real estate. You don't want to have a real estate guy handling your stock portfolio or vice versa. Right. You want to make sure that a person that's investing in stocks, that understands stocks, is investing in stocks. And if you're dealing with real estate, you want to make sure you have a professional that deals with real estate, dealing with that real estate investment. So whatever vehicle you're using, you want to make sure that person that's handling that investment understands it. So protect your money. Make sure you're not risking losing that money. All right. So next thing is investing for retirement. So a lot of people, what we're taught is like, when we're working, we're like, okay, you pay Social Security, and then by the time you retire, your Social Security is going to take care of you. Social Security is not meant to take care of you, right? It's supposed to be a supplemental income, right? So it's supposed to supplement, your retirement. It's not supposed to be there it's not what you're supposed to retire on. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to invest in retirement funds. Right? You're supposed to invest whatever in retirement funds that you have, with IRA, 401k, or whatever investment vehicle that you use. You take that money and obviously you invest in that and build that retirement fund. And Social Security is there to be a supplement, but a lot of people use Social Security as their means of retirement, which is the wrong thing to do, because we don't even know. There's articles out there saying that by 2033, the retirement Social Security is not even going to be there. The reason for that, because it's the way that the system runs, it's not efficient. Obviously, you put your money in, you expect it to be there when you retire. But what you don't understand is that the government takes that money that you're using and they invest it. So that money's not there. So what they rely on is they rely on young people to work and take Social Security from them, and then fund the lifestyle, the retirement for the older generation. But if younger people are not working, then eventually there's no money being built up to help fund that retirement account. So that's why a lot of people think it's going to be by 2033. There's not going to be any retirement money left. So I would never rely on Social Security, because obviously it's a flawed system, especially the way the government runs. So if you're someone that's relying on Social Security, create a plan, educate yourself on retirement funds, and start moving on that. So make sure you're investing in retirements, because obviously you don't want to rely on Social Security to fund your retirement life. The next thing is increasing your ability to earn. Right. So once you've developed all these assets and you've invested in things, you want to also create different multiple streams of income. Right. So obviously you want to just rely on one stream of income, whether you've invested in businesses, whether you've invested in stocks, real estate. You want to create multiple streams of income. So therefore, if the economy turns and like one of your investment vehicles isn't doing well, you have other streams of income for yourself. So you want to increase your ability to earn, because especially as you get older, you're not going to have the energy to make money. So if you create system like multiple streams of income that can make money while as you get older, that's going to benefit you in the long run. So you want to make sure that you're obviously diversifying and creating multiple streams of income to get you through those times where the economy is not doing well. So it's important to just create multiple streams of income, and then and just find a way to just stabilize. Like just make sure that you as you get older, that you have different ways protecting your obviously your lifestyle as you get older. So that's pretty much it. So to summarize this whole thing, right? Like if you think about it, in a simple terms, because I've obviously given you like 6, simple lessons. But if you really want to summarize it overall, like the next thing, the main thing is like, all right, live on less than you earn, right? Overall, general summary, just live on less than you earn, right? The next thing is find competent people that experience to do business with, and you can learn from, right? Take these people that understand money, learn from them, and they have experience, and you can protect your money in the future overall. And next is like invest what you save, right? And invest what you save and make that money work for you. That's pretty much it. So if you can follow these things, these simple principles, especially if you can start early for someone that's young that's watching this, even if you're not, you can still follow these principles and then build wealth over time. Like just understand that you gotta spend less than you make. Then you obviously want to be around people that understand money, that are also making money and building wealth over time. You want to be around those people, and then you can learn from them. And then also just make sure to invest what you save, right? And if you can do these things, then over time, then you should be able to retire nice and easy, enjoy a nice little healthy life. And not have to worry about struggling and depending on people or the government to take care of you as you get older. So that's pretty much it. So if you got any comments or questions, make sure you leave it down below. Hit the like button, share. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so you guys take care and have a good one. Later.